Good morning students. Today I am here with a revision video on the topic Improvement in Food Resources. In this video we are going to revise the whole chapter. Now you can see a mind map over here whereby the entire chapter is very much illustrated in a systematized manner. Now here, as you can see, the chapter Improvement in Food Resources has been divided into two sections. One section is the improvement in crop yields and the other section is the animal husbandry part. Now a bit of introduction. We all know that food serves as a fuel to provide energy to run the body. And different food products provide us with various nutrients like your carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, proteins, minerals, water, etc. All of which are required for body's growth and development. Human beings obtain food from both plants and animals. We obtain cereals, vegetables, fruits from plants and milk, egg, meat, etc. from animals. However, the availability of food and other materials from agriculture and animal husbandry has always fallen short of the requirement due to rapid rise in human population. Therefore, it is necessary that food production should be increased without degrading our environment and disturbing the natural balance. Hence, there is a need for suitable, sustainable practices in agriculture and animal husbandry. So, let us now talk about the term sustainable agriculture. It is the successful management of agricultural resources that maximizes agricultural yield while maintaining the quality of the environment and conserving our natural resources. It involves the development of genetically modified crops, use of biofertilizers, biopesticides, etc. So this chapter covers all the above aspects and emphasizes on the availability of quality food. Now let us get actually into the chapter. So the improvement in crop yields, as you can see over here, has got three branches. So three activities are actually undertaken for improving the crop yields, and they are crop variety improvement, crop production management, and crop protection management. Now in the crop variety improvement, we have discussed about two topics, that is hybridization, and the other one is introducing a gene that provides the desired characteristics. So hybridization, as we have already talked about, is the crossing between genetically dissimilar plants, and this can be done in three ways. That is, it can be intergeneric, interspecific, and intervarietal. Whereas introducing a gene that provides the desired characteristic is actually leads to the formation of genetically modified crop, where I have cited the example of BT cotton, which is a genetically modified crop resistant to insects and diseases. Now, in the production management, we have talked about the nutrient management. That is the 16 nutrients which are essential for the plants, and then we divided it into two categories, that is your macronutrients and micronutrients, all of which are essential for the normal growth of the plant and also for maintaining the physiological processes and also preventing it from susceptibility to diseases. To increase the yield, the soil can be enriched with supplying these nutrients in the form of manures and fertilizers. Then we also talked about the different kinds of manures, that is your compost and vermicompost and the green manure. Compost, the process in which the farm waste and that is your livestock excreta, vegetable waste, animal refuse, domestic waste, sewage waste, all these things are decomposed in the pits, and that is known as composting. And when this composting is hastened, that is made faster with the help of earthworms, then it is known as vermicomposting. And then we talked about the green manure, that is when some plants like your sun hemp or guar are grown and then mulched by plowing them into the soil, then they turn into green manure, which helps in enriching the soil with nitrogen and phosphorus. Then we also talked about fertilizers and said that they should be applied very, very carefully, as the dose and time and other things needs to be taken care of, as you know they may cause lot of environmental pollution, that is pollution of the soil and the water, what we call as algal bloom. So actually they get leached and then they cause the pollution of the water. So they need to be used very judiciously. They supply the soil with nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, and they do ensure good vegetative growth and give rise to healthy plants. So they are a very important component in the higher yields of crop production. Next we have the irrigation facilities, whereby we talked about the wells, which are of two types, the dug wells and the tube wells, which collect the water from the deeper strata of the earth. And then the canals, which is an elaborate and extensive irrigation system. So in this system, canals receive water from one or more reservoirs or from the rivers. Then we have the main rivers, from which we can have the river lift system. So when areas where canal flow is insufficient or irregular due to inadequate reservoir release, then this river lift system is used, where the water is drawn directly from the rivers for supplementing irrigation. Then we talked about the tanks, which are small storage reservoirs which intercept and store the runoff of the small catchment areas. Then we also talked about the different cropping patterns, which is actually very scientific, and this actually leads to the increase in the yield. And they are mainly of three types, that is your mixed cropping, intercropping and crop rotation. In mixed cropping, two or more crops are sown simultaneously on the same piece of land. Okay, and that reduces the risk and gives insurance against crop failure of one of the crops. Now, in intercropping, growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field in a definite pattern, that is in a definite ratio, either 1:2 or 1:1 or 1:3. So in that way, maximum utilization of the nutrients supplied is done, and it prevents pests and diseases from spreading. Then we have the crop rotation, whereby crops are grown on a piece of land in a pre-planned succession, and depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done for different crop combinations. So that is your crop rotation. And then we went to the protection part discussion, that is your crop protection management, whereby we talked about the different enemies of the crops and how the crops can be protected against them, and after the crops are harvested, then they are stored. So during the storage and after storage, what are the precautionary measures we need to take to prevent these grains from getting destroyed or eaten up by the enemies, or protecting them from the biotic and the abiotic components of nature. Then we also talked about how the insects attack the plants, and they mainly do it in 3 ways. That is, either they cut the root stem or the leaf, or they suck the cell sap, or they bore into the stem and the fruits. Now, diseases in the plants are actually caused by the pathogens such as your bacteria, fungi and viruses. And these pathogens can be present in the soil, water and air, and they can be transmitted through them. So weeds, insects and diseases needs to be controlled by various methods, which includes the use of insecticides, pesticides, fungicides, herbicides. So many kinds of sprays are available which can be used for treating the crop plants. And we all know that excessive use of chemicals definitely causes problems, since they can be poisonous to many plants and animal species, and they do cause environmental pollution. So we must go for some preventive measures against pest control, like use of resistant varieties, and practice summer plowing methods, in which the fields are plowed deep in the summers to destroy the weeds and the pests. Now coming to the animal husbandry part. So what is animal husbandry is actually it is the scientific management of animal livestock, and it includes various aspects such as feeding, breeding, disease control. So animal based farming includes your cattle farming as included in our syllabus. Then also we have this poultry farming, fish production and beekeeping. So in animal husbandry mainly we have got these 4 topics for discussion. Now we can talk about cattle farming a little bit on this. That is, what is cattle farming and how is it actually done? So it is mainly done for 2 purposes. That is for your milk, and then the other part is the draught labor for agricultural work such as tilling, irrigation and carting. Indian cattle actually belongs to 2 different species. That is your Bos indicus, that is the cow, and your Bos bubalis, what we call as the buffaloes. Milk producing females are called milch animals or the dairy ones, and the ones which are used for farm labor are called as the draught animals. And milk production depends to some extent on the duration of the lactation period. So the longer the lactation period, the greater will be the productivity of the cattle. So we have different kinds of breeds. The exotic or foreign breeds like your Jersey and Brown Swiss are usually selected for their long lactation period, and the local breeds, that is your Indian breeds like Red Sindhi and Sahiwal, are selected for their excellent resistance to diseases, and the 2 varieties can be crossbred and with the desired qualities, and we get a superior breed like your Holstein Friesian. Okay, then we need to take care of their shelter facilities, and proper cleaning is required, and also we need to take care of their health and prevent them from diseases. Now the feeding requirement of the cattle, that is the dairy animals mainly, is of 2 types. One is the maintenance requirement, where the food is required to support the animal to lead a healthy life, and the other one is your milk producing requirement, which is the type of food required during the lactation period. And it includes mainly the roughage, which consists of fibers, and the concentrate, which is low in fiber and certainly has high levels of protein and other nutrients. We also need to protect these farm animals from different kinds of diseases as they may fall a prey to them. So we need to take care of that, and diseases can be of various types. Infectious diseases can be caused by the bacteria and viruses. Internal parasites like your worms may affect the stomach and intestine, while as your flukes damage the liver. Now let us come to the poultry farming part, whereby it is undertaken to raise the domestic fowl for egg production and chicken meat. Therefore, improved poultry breeds are developed and farmed to produce layers for your eggs and broilers for your meat. And the crossbreeding program here also it is undertaken between the Indian varieties like your Asil and the foreign variety like Leghorn. And the breeds are developed, that is the variety improvement is done so that new varieties come with the following desirable characteristics. And what are the desirable characteristics in poultry farming? The number and the quality of chicks should be good. Dwarf broiler parent for commercial chick production is desirable. Summer adaptation capacity should be there, and they should be tolerant to high temperature. They need to have low maintenance requirement, and they need to have reduction in the size of the animal, that is the bird, so that they need less of space and consume less food. So that way it is economical for the poultry farmer. Now poultry birds also suffer from a number of diseases caused by virus, bacteria, fungi, parasites, as well as they suffer from diseases due to nutritional deficiencies. So that necessitates the proper cleaning, sanitation and spraying of the disinfectants at regular intervals. Now coming to the fish production part, we know that fish is a cheap source of animal protein for our food. Fish production includes the finned, that is your true fish, as well as the shellfish such as the prawns, shrimps, mollusks, etc. And there are two ways of obtaining fish. One is from your natural resources, what we call as the capture fishery, and the other is by the fish farming, what we call as the culture fishery. So the water source of the fish can be either a seawater or a freshwater, such as your river and pond, and fishing can be done both by capture and culture method in the marine and the freshwaters. So in India's marine fishery resources include 7,500 kilometers of the coastline and the deep seas beyond it. So popular marine fish varieties include your pomfrets, mackerels, tuna, sardines, Bombay duck, etc. And this marine fishing is actually done by using different kinds of fishing nets from fishing boats, and yields are increased by locating the large schools of fish in open sea using satellites and echo sounders. And in the inland fishery part, we have the freshwater resources like your canals, ponds, reservoirs and rivers. Brackish water resources also, where the water is salty because of the mixing of the fresh water and the salt water, which is under which comes the estuaries and the lagoons. And so capture fishing is also done in such inland water bodies, but the yield is not high. So in that case, we definitely go for some combination methods, that is your composite fish culture, whereby 6 varieties of fish is a combination of 5 to 6 species of fish is used in a single fish pond, and the species are so selected that they do not compete for food amongst themselves, and as a result food available in all parts of the pond is utilized. And but we face one problem in that case, and that is, the culture of so many fish in the same area leads to mixed productivity in terms of fish seed. So it gets mixed up with all the other species, and that is a major problem for the fish farming. So lack of availability of good quality seed. And to overcome this problem, now the ways have been worked out to breed these fish in ponds using hormonal stimulation method, and that has ensured the supply of pure fish seed in desired quantities. Now the fourth part of this topic is your beekeeping, and you all know that the culture of honeybees is coming under apiculture. Honey is a widely used and has got a lot of medicinal value. So beekeeping for making honey has become an agricultural enterprise, and this industry needs very low investment. So farmers use this as an additional source of income. Varieties of bees are used for commercial honey production, and an Italian variety also has been introduced in the Indian apiculture, that is your Apis mellifera, to increase the yield. And this variety has got a lot of advantages, like it has got a high honey nectar collection capacity, so high honey production. They sting very somewhat less, and they do not swarm, and so they breed very well. So for commercial honey production in the bee farms or apiaries, this Italian variety is introduced. And the value and the quality of honey depends upon the pasturage or the flowers available in the vicinity for the nectar and pollen collection. So in addition to adequate quantity of pasturage, the kind of flowers always determine the quality and the taste of honey. So that is about your beekeeping or honey production. Now in this a kind of a mind map, the whole thing that I have said is being discussed under different heads, as you can see. Improvement in crop yields. Now here it comes crop variety improvement, crop production improvement, crop protection improvement. Then the techniques have been just defined in a very systematic manner. It is done. Variety improvement, here it is shown in 3 methods: simple breeding, genetic engineering, and the other one is hybridization. In the production improvement, we have the nutrient management, whereby the new manures and fertilizers are discussed. Then the irrigation method. Then comes the cropping pattern. Now in the irrigation method, we have the canals, wells, tube wells, and river lift system. Pattern, we have crop rotation, mixed cropping, intercropping, multiple cropping. Okay, and in the protection part, as it is shown over here, the pest control, disease control, weed control, and storage of grains. So everything discussed very well in this mind map. Now here the animal husbandry part is illustrated in detail. That is animal husbandry, consisting of 4 branches here, and according to our syllabus: cattle farming, beekeeping, fish production, poultry farming. So now in the fish production, again it is divided into 2 categories, that is your marine fisheries and inland fisheries, as we have already talked about. So that is what the entire discussion is about, the whole chapter revised. So you can use this mind map for your revision part, and you can use this as a checklist as well. Thank you. That's all for now.